I just wanted to make this video mainly as therapy for myself. This is just one dumb chimp to another. Alright, so what the hell is going on? I think it all revolves around this issue of centralized and decentralized. You know, who's in power? Let's start off by telling a story. You're born into this world as a baby. Your parents raise you, they're responsible for you, they look after you, and then all of a sudden you want to rebel because you want to be a free person outside of their control and take life into your own hands. Simple story. Well, that family you're a part of is in a village that has a tribal elder. Now they have something like a magical scroll, or they've witnessed and been passed down a story for generations, and they're the ones that tell it. They're responsible for the tribe. And they get everybody to listen, and everybody looks up to this elder. But then new technology, new ideas come about, and all of a sudden people can read, write, start to think for themselves, because the village elder has done such a good job that they've educated and got the people in their village to start thinking. This is a good thing. With this new technology, mainly the printing press or anything, you've got literacy rates shooting up, you've got everybody getting educated, you got people meeting in bars, coffee shops, and just different parts of the market, and everybody's talking and spreading new ideas. These new technologies and these ideas usually tear down the old and replace it with something brand new. We started out with small pyramids, and now we're in skyscrapers. When these new ideas and technological innovations happen, some people get mad or fearful. They wonder, what the hell is going on? What place do I have in this new world? Oh my God, I'm no longer in control. What worth do I have? In history so far, the people that have this thought are mainly shown in this picture. But all this technological innovation, all of these new ideas is just a work in progress. Some are good, some are bad. Then we hit on the mother lode of ideas recently. We discovered the internet. It's just an interweb of everybody being able to talk together and share ideas. When this thing hit, the spread of ideas and how many people you could have a conversation with went through the roof. Now you're exposed to even more ideas, working with people from around the planet, making bigger and better technology, and the pace of innovation just goes crazy. With the internet, you have this trend of everything going from analog to digital. All of a sudden, you used to have cassettes that would take whole industries and different supply chains and everything would have to be created and work in concert to create that cassette, but now it can all be streaming, and none of that stuff, none of that infrastructure has to be created. All those analog resources and means of production have now been digitized. What does that mean? That means with digitization and the internet, you have now made everything super fast, super cheap, and everybody can now get along with it. Stores that were once brick and mortar, that had to have whole supply chains, whole industries just to build them, and all finances were put towards it just to spread an analog message, has now been made digital, and you don't need all that infrastructure. The price has dropped dramatically, and this is changing right in front of our eyes. Without the internet, you would only have had to make a speech to just who was in the room. Your lecture that you did in the university was only broadcast to those select students that could actually pay and be privileged enough to attend class. Now, you can become world famous with just a microphone and the internet connection and have a worldwide audience. Now, because of this, you've made everything a lot more efficient. It requires a lot less human beings to get all the work done that once used to have whole industries and supply chains. Usually when you make something efficient, you're reducing the number of people that have to spend their waking hours in this life dedicated to making it happen. Those that are able to accomplish this are getting fantastically wealthy. And all of this is happening at an ever-increasing speed. Because of this speed, a lot of people are being left behind. This has led them to unite and say, hey, look, damn it, we're still here, we're still important. And everybody's trying to contemplate what's fair and unfair. During this process, many believe that are left behind, and those that have far exceeded everybody are starting to maybe think the American dream is dead, that we can all benefit from one another. And now, this sense of unfairness has come to a climax in the form of GameStop. Now, to bring it back, we're talking about centralized and decentralized power. The GameStop situation is really a matter of this fundamental issue. Who's in power? Who's making the moves? Who affects other people? And what can they do about it? To better understand this issue, let's go back in history and see how the finance industry became so centralized. Well, it all started out with gold. As soon as we upgraded from the bartering system and try to find a medium of exchange that we can all agree on and ease the transactions and trade amongst us, we decided to pick something that was hard to get at, rare, valuable, shiny, doesn't corrode, and stands the test of time. This was money throughout a long period of our time and is still, in the back of every investor's brain, a cornerstone in what they perceive value is. And who has the most of it usually is the one calling the shots. Now, when you have gold, in its very nature, it becomes centralized because you have to store it somewhere in a central location to keep it safe. We've trusted bankers and goldsmiths back in the day to keep all of our gold safe, and they would issue out us receipts showing how much gold we had within their banks. These banks grew over time and became more and more powerful because they were the ones that held the de facto power that we all trusted to use to get along with one another. Now, this is an awesome responsibility and trust that we've placed within this central authority for the betterment of us. We trusted them to be honest and to track who has what and by how much, and to not artificially inflate the system. We were hoping that they were benevolent, that they were just going to help out everybody. But over time, when you centralize power, it tends to go, as Lord Acton put it, all power tends to corrupt, and absolute power tends to corrupt absolutely. And the most powerful thing that we use in order to establish our relationships and get along is this medium of exchange, this thing that we all believe is worth, and we give our life and our time in service to others so that we can receive this monetary energy to ask upon them at a later date to do the same for us. Now with GameStop, they're starting to see how much this power is centralized and how it can affect their life. So what's the answer? It's the same answer as it's always been. New technology allows for new ideas, new innovation, so that way people can question the authority of the tribal elder and their worldview and place it on the masses. Introducing Bitcoin. Bitcoin is simply decentralized finance. The monetary controls are put on the internet through cryptography, where nobody can go in and hack it and adjust the ledger, saying who has what and who owes what, and it's not controlled by one central computer, but by many spread throughout the world. When you decentralize power, you get freedom. You no longer have to do what somebody else thinks you ought to be doing. With freedom, you get to think for yourself. You get to come up with new ideas. You get to put your worldview out there. And freedom usually sparks technological innovation. This innovation then produces prosperity. But freedom has a price, and most people aren't willing to pay it. In order to have freedom, you have to be awesome. You have to have responsibility. You have to make the right and the wrong decisions. If you accept Bitcoin and decentralized finance and the freedom that comes with it, you then have to give up the idea that somebody's going to come and protect you, and life is in your own hands, and what an awesome responsibility that is.